Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special Sonny Kruger solo episode of the Code X podcast. I'm your host, Sonny Kruger, and today I'm joined by you, the viewer. So, me and Tim are ready to do this episode, and then he was frozen, most likely by Mr. Freeze. And I messaged Jamie to see what he was up to, and he said he was on his way to Illinois. So let's just assume he's on his way over to my house, and that he will be here soon. Maybe we'll hear a knock on the door, and maybe it will be Jamie, and maybe he will join me, and then I'll have to kick him out because this is my solo episode, so it's only me. And yes, when I say we, I mean me and all of you watching. So when I say we got this episode going, we will be doing this, talk about me and your beautiful self. So, obviously, today we will be having a lot of comic book news. The Codex podcast hasn't been around for a while, a bit over a month, so there's a lot of comic book news. Some sad news, some good news, some returns to some comic books. So, some good stuff coming your way. And also, we will be having a bit of mail call. I got some mail calls, so I'm excited about that. And I got some pulls. I actually went to a comic book shop and got myself some comic books. Also, we will be having our works, and this time I won't just be talking about myself. I will be talking about what the Codex station has coming up for all of you, and some of the stuff that has been coming out recently from the Codex station. And then we will be having the F list. And since Jamie and Tim are not here, I will be going over some of the characters that we have had in the past, and then maybe mentioning some of the ones we might be having in the future. And then we will be having a special round of Do You Know? Obviously, today's a little bit different, but we will still make it work. And finally, we will be reviewing the story of Wolverine, the Jungle Adventure. I thought this was perfect since it's a Wolverine solo adventure. And now today, I, Sonny Kruger, am on my solo adventure here at the Code X podcast. Usually, I get us started with comic book news / the rundown, and I give us a bit of the rundown. But today, it's a bit different, so I don't need to give a rundown. I will just start us off with the comic book news. All right, everyone, it has been a few weeks since we have had an episode of the Codex podcast, so we have quite a bit of news for you. Unfortunately, we start off with some sad news, and that is that Arlene Sorkin, the voice actress of Harley Quinn in Batman the Animated Series, has passed away at the age of 67. After a long battle with multiple sclerosis, she has passed away. And many know, Arlene Sorkin is pretty much the voice of Harley Quinn. That's the voice I think of when I still read a comic book and I hear, when I have Harley Quinn in a comic book, I still imagine it being her voice as the voice of Harley Quinn. And she did continue on with the voice being the role of Harley Quinn, and years after Batman the Animated Series. And her last performance as Harley Quinn was in DC Universe Online. So may Arlene Sorkin rest in peace. And also artist and inker Dan Green passed away at the age of 70, and may he rest in peace. And also Dan Green, he had worked, his name is not obviously as big as Arlene, but he has worked on many comic books as well. For instance, he worked on X-Men, Iron Fist, Justice League of America, and Tarzan. And he even worked on some Doctor Strange. And J.M. DeMantis summed up Green on social media. He wrote, J.M. DeMantis said, Dan Green wasn't one of our best inkers. I'm really messing up on what I'm saying. See, that's the thing when you have multiple co-hosts. They can jump up and help you out when you're messing up your words like I am right now. But here we go. J.M. DeMantis said about Dan Green. J.M. DeMantis said, Dan Green wasn't just one of our best inkers. He was a wonderful illustrator, as evidenced by his extraordinary work on Into Shambhala. He was also an old friend, a great loss, a great sadness for all who knew him. And JM was the one that Dan worked on with during the Doctor Strange storyline. So may Dan Green and Arlene Sorkin both rest in peace. And for those who also, one other thing I didn't say for Arlene Sorkin, because like I said, most of us know her as the voice of Harley Quinn, but she also did more things than act. She also wrote, and she was one of the writers on Tiny Toon Adventures. For those of you who don't know what that was like Bugs Bunny, but like the kid versions, the mini versions of Bugs Bunny and all the Looney Tunes. And she was also the co-host of America's Funniest People with Dave Collier. You may know him as Joey Gladstone on Full House. And then we do have some good news too, and that is that Jason Aaron is returning to DC after 15 years, and he is returning to Batman. And now he is returning for a 6-issue miniseries. It's called Batman Off-World, and the artist is Doug Mank, and the inker is Jamie Mendoza. And this is set to take Batman out of this world. It's set to be a Cosmos story with Batman fighting aliens. So it should be interesting. It is a 6-issue miniseries, and that is set to come out November 21st. And hey, Jason Aaron returning to DC after 15 years, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty good. Jamie had sent this one to us in the comments, or actually not in the comments, in our chat that me, him, and Tim have for the podcast. So I know Jamie was pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm going to assume that Tim is too. So I think that should be a good comic book coming out in November, and that is Batman Off-World, and that is the start of the 6-issue miniseries. Speaking of some great writers, people have been wondering what has happened to Donny Cates, one of the best writers in modern times. People were wondering what happened. He stopped writing. He dropped off of the Hulk, and then that was Ryan Otley took over writing for the Hulk, and also Donny Cates dropped off of Thor, and then Al Ewing took over. And then also he was originally going to be the writer for Ultimate Invasion, but it is now being written by Jonathan Hickman. And what happened, everyone wondering what happened to the great Donny Cates. He was in a horrific car accident. He is healing, but yeah, it was a really bad accident. And got this from Bleeding Cool. And it was saying that we talked to him that Donny Cates had said, better people see the truth than whatever BS gossip that's going around these days. He didn't say BS. He said the words though. But he was saying that Donny Cates also told Bleeding Cool that he said, I was in the backseat of a car pulling off the highway when we were hit by a truck from behind, sending my head into not just the middle console, but also my open laptop, the result of which shattered my orbital socket, sliced my head open like a grape, and caused a not insignificant amount of bleeding on my brain. So yeah, for me, I was in a car heading to the airport, and then, boom, kind of teleported to a hospital ER with no real idea what the hell had happened or who I was. Or, yeah, not my favorite thing that's happened this year, and it's been a weird year. And then there are pictures, so we don't have the pictures right now, but yeah, Donny Cates is very injured. You see he has a black eye, like I said, the broken orbital socket. You see a cut on him. Yeah, he looks pretty badly beaten. And then Donny Cates is also saying, but like the video says, I'm back on the mend and it's better every day. The good news is that I've had the opportunity to read my own books and have them all be a surprise. Did you know Cosmic Ghost Rider is actually Frank Castle? Wild. And he also said, I'd like to say I'm sorry to all my fans and friends and YouTube trolls and whoever else it seemed like I've just disappeared. If it seemed like I've just disappeared. I've had to relearn how to tie my own shoes and feed myself and all that boring crap. But I assure you, a little brain damage won't stop me from doing whatever it is that I do that you all seem to enjoy so much. So we do, everyone at Codex Station wishes Donny Cates a successful and speedy recovery. Like I said, he is one of the greats of our time, and what a shame of what happened to him, but the blessings that he is alive and he is healing. And yeah, like I said, like he said, it was a weird year, especially for him. I can only imagine. I hope I don't ever go through anything like that, but to be in a horrific accident, like I said, suddenly you're in the car on the way to an airport, suddenly you're in an accident and you're waking up and all these months have passed and you're kind of like, wait, what do I do again? And you're reading these comics. It's like, hey, you wrote these. This is what you did. And you can't remember, Me as a writer, I go back to my stories, and every now and then there's a part where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that because I have so many stories. But to truly forget them because of an accident, yeah, like I said, something I hope to never go through. But I'd rather go through that than my life ended. So the blessing is that he is alive, that we're alive. So Johnny Cates, we hope that he will be back soon. There was no mention of when he will be back, when he'll be back to writing. Like I said, he was mentioning that he needed to learn how to tie his shoes and everything. So right now he should just be focusing on recovering, and hopefully maybe next year we will see him back into writing more comic books. So for now, just rest up, and hopefully he is able to enjoy his comic books again, the ones he's written, and yeah, just to enjoy life. He's still been given time on this earth, so hopefully he can enjoy it. And then, like I said, eventually get back to writing comics because we love his work. So that is what Donny Cates has been up to, in case you were wondering. And then Tim had sent, in other news, Tim had sent us a link about the Harvey Award nominees that were announced. And one thing that I'm sure he would like to talk about it a lot more, but for me, one thing that really stood out was that Marvel and DC barely had any nominations at all. I would think that they'd be kind of crushing it, but they didn't. So, I mean, not so good for them, but it's pretty good for other companies too, that aren't so big to have all these nominations. But the one that did have Marvel and DC nominated was the 2023 Harvey Awards Best Adaptation from a comic/graphic novel nominees, and the one that DC Comics had nominated was The Sandman, the Netflix show based on The Sandman for DC Comics. And then the one for Marvel was She-Hulk, the Disney Plus series based on She-Hulk. So, and then also, excuse me, DC only had that one. Marvel had She-Hulk, and Marvel also had Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So that is what they were nominated for. I thought it was pretty interesting that was it for Marvel and DC. Maybe Tim will talk about it more. We may have some updates when they announce the winners, and the Harvey Awards will be announced. The winners will be announced on Friday the 13th of October. Yes, Friday the 13th this year in October. Yeah, this year, Friday the 13th will be in October. So be prepared for a lot of Jason Voorhees movies that day. But yeah, most of us stream, so it's not like we'll be going through all those channels and all the commercials where we'll take 2 to 3 hours to play an hour and a half Friday the 13th movie. So do what you want. Friday the 13th will be in October. And that's all I basically have to say about that. And the Harvey Awards until maybe they mention some winners. But now, speaking of awards and how I was speaking about comic books and I was surprised about Marvel and DC, Mark Miller made a claim. The writer Mark Miller has claimed that comic books are in the worst. He claimed that comics are in the worst state. That it's the worst state of comic books right now. So that comic books, they need to change. It's the worst state it's ever been in. And he is suggesting that legends need to return to stick around for maybe at least 2 years on certain stories, on certain characters, that is the way that these characters are going to be saved, that is the way the comic book industry is going to be saved. Because right now, when you look at the numbers, it isn't too good. Comic books aren't as popular. And I would think that would change. I would think the numbers with, especially with the MCU and all these big movies, and like I said, not just the MCU, obviously it's the biggest one, but you do have DC movies that are big, and you do have all these you're starting to have more indie stuff that are being made into movies too. You would think that would make their comic book sales go up, but for some reason, comic books are not selling so well. Like I said, Mark Miller's claim is that it's in the worst state it's ever been in, and that some legends need to return. We will see if that happens. And also, Mark Miller will be working on a new Superman story. No dates set for when it will come out, but yeah, Mark Miller, he's not just talking. He will be working, and he'll be working on a new Superman story. And speaking of more things in not such good states, there was a big implosion at the IDW. the IDW's Originals line launched back in April of 2022, and it was under the guidance of editor Mark Doyle, who is now the co-publisher of IDW, and they had a lot of artists that had a lot of writers and up and comers, and some who were already established, such as Scott Snyder, G. Willow Wilson, Stephen Graham Jones, John Ridley, Liana Kangas, and there were many others. But as we were just saying, that things are not going so good. So in April of this year, IDW announced that they were reorganizing, delisting from the stock market, and that unfortunately they laid off almost 40% of their staff. So that is really bad to, I don't really need to tell you that laying off 40% of your staff is a bad sign. So yeah, that stinks because IDW does have a lot of good titles, and some of their most popular titles that most people know of is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Star Trek. So those are still doing good, but yeah, not such good news for IDW. We will see what happens with them in the future. Maybe they will get some more staff, but yeah, right now laying off 40% of your staff is never a good sign. I know us at the Codex station, some of us we haven't been seen in a while. No, we have not laid off 40% of our staff. Life gets busy, life drives us here and there. As you see, I'm on a solo adventure today. So yes, no one's been laid off that I know of. Nobody's told me that anybody's been laid off. I'm about to lay some people off, but I have not laid them off yet. So they're doing pretty good. We haven't had to lay off anybody just yet. But we do have some big news, and this got me really excited. And this has to do with this guy, Wolverine, and one of the main writers of X-Men. And that is the news that Chris Claremont is returning to Wolverine for the 50th anniversary. And that is, he is making a Wolverine miniseries, and it is entitled Manjapur Nights, but Nights with a K. And for Manjapur Nights, the big thing is that it is set to continue the story arc in X-Men. Yes, X-Men 268 was an amazing one-shot with Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America, showing them back in WW2 days. So if you haven't checked out that one-shot, it's awesome. It is an amazing one. You've probably seen the cover where, you see Wolverine, Captain America, and Black Widow. And this story that Chris Claremont is writing is set to continue that story. It is set to be 5 issues, and the artist is set to be Edgar Salazar. And the first issue will be released on February 7th. Like I said, next year, 50 years of one of the best characters in all of comic books, and that is Wolverine. So I'm really excited about it. I mean, Chris Claremont wrote X-Men. He was a writer of X-Men for 16 years, I believe it was. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, that I'm right, that it was 16 years, starting with the Uncanny X-Men 94. And yeah, he continued on, like I said, for 16 years. So for him to return for Wolverine 5-issue miniseries, I think it's a really good sign. I'm really excited about it. And hey, like we were saying, Mark Miller was saying some of the legends need to return. I know Chris Claremont won't be on this Wolverine series, won't be going for 2 years, but a 5-issue miniseries, I will not complain. I don't think many will complain. It should be a really good story. Like I said, that the Uncanny X-Men 268 is an awesome one-shot. So I'm really excited to see that story continue with Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America. And Chris Claremont even did say that he's really excited to get back to these characters and write them. And yeah, he even said, he's like, I can't believe it's been 50 years of Wolverine, that he's known the character for 50 years. So that is some big news. I'm excited about it. You should all be excited about it, especially if you're an X-Men fan, but I think it's going to be a great story. So like I said, Wolverine Manjapur Nights, the 5-issue miniseries written by Chris Claremont, and the artist will be Edgar Salazar, will come out February 7th, 2024, in celebration of 50 years of Wolverine. And we got some little last minute news, and it was that Aquaman 2 had some there was a teaser trailer And then I waited to do this part. I said, wait a minute, I gotta see the actual trailer first. And then I saw the actual trailer, and yeah, so there was a first little teaser that was like, in 4 days, the full trailer of Aquaman 2. And then the official trailer dropped, and I must say, looking pretty good. I mean, you barely see, a lot of people wondering what's going to happen with Amber Heard as Mara. And, I saw it a quick little, second or two in the official trailer. Can't blame them for that, because there's going to be a lot of talk about, why she's in there, especially with all the trouble she was in with Johnny Depp. And then two, The Flash had bombed at the box office. It was not making, did not make the money DC wanted it to, and I think a lot of it had to do with Ezra Miller and all the trouble they were in. And then now I feel, unfortunately, as good as the movie as this may be, because I will say, I thought the trailer looked good. I think it's going to be a lot of action, and I think, unfortunately, with Amber Heard, with all the talk, because even though they may not show her in the trailer, social media gets out there. People are going to talk. People are going to post things, and how could you support this? They're going to say things like that. And I think, unfortunately, again, Aquaman 2 will be another box office flop for DC. But it's a movie I do want to see. I think it looks good. And, I think I watch out for Black Manta. The trailer is showing that he's saying, I'm coming for his whole family. He wants to wipe out Aquaman's bloodline. I give Mara, I give her about 10 minutes in the movie. She's going to get killed within like 10 minutes. Black Manta is going to kill her. And if you like me and you know a bit about the comic books, well, we know movies change things, but I'm very nervous about Aquaman's baby. That's what I'm pretty nervous about. And yeah, but I think it's going to be a very interesting movie. I do want to see it. Hopefully it does good. Yeah, I actually enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the first Aquaman. I think the second one may be better. And that is all of our comic book news for today. Like I said, normally I would have gotten through this with the rundown, and then me, Tim, and Jamie, or maybe even Kristen, we would have all discussed certain topics. But hey, since it's just me, I said let me go through each and every one. So there we go. A lot of news over this past month, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more news coming your way on more episodes of the Code X podcast. So now we can move on to our next topic. Not topic, more like our next segment. It's mail call! Well, it wasn't a mail call for me about a week ago, because I thought I was going to get Infinity War, the book, in the mail, and then I realized I was dealing with a dirty scammer. They took the money. Well, the price was very low, so I got it. I won the bid, and then suddenly I did not get it in the mail. So I looked, and when I was on eBay, and I was like, okay, this person hasn't sent it. And then I looked under their feedback and saw somebody else had said that the person did not give them their stuff. So eventually I sent the person the piece of trash a message saying I didn't receive it yet. What's going on? They didn't reply. Got eBay involved, and eventually I did get my money back. So I still don't have the Infinity War. So hey, I'm on the hunt for Infinity War, the trade paperback. But I make sure to leave a comment, some feedback under this loser. The other person was a bit more nicer what they said about this scumbag. What they said about the scumbag. So the other person said, seller has item marked as shipped but hasn't actually dropped it off. Think they got cold feet because it sold for less than they wanted it to. Poor service if you ask me. Actually ship your item and be the better person, dude. And I said, in all capital letters, scammer. Because I want people to know, scammer as soon as they look at it. And then in regular, perfect grammar, I said, this loser just takes your money and doesn't send your item. I am not the only one this has happened to. This piece of trash should be kicked off of eBay. And I see that they have 0% positive feedback and -2 feedbacks from people. So beware when you buy things. Look at how many things they've sold before. It stinks. They really messes it up for people who are new and trying to sell stuff, because well, you get losers like that who just want to take your money and don't want to give your stuff back. But I did, uh, but I did get some mail calls lately. One of them I got was a surprise. My lady, my love, my Maria was like, "You getting a package in the mail?" I was like, "Wait a minute, what am I getting?" I know it wasn't an Infinity War, so I'm wondering what is it? And it looks like a book. It looks like a thin one. And then I get it. I don't know what it's going to be. And suddenly it was this bad boy, and that's Night Terrors issue number 2, or Night Terrors Nightwing issue number 2. Cool cover. I really like that. And then I remembered a while ago, about a week or two ago, Sal, the slab guy, hello to Sal, had put in the comment in our Code X station chat that he accidentally got an extra one. I was like, who needs it? And I was like, hey, I don't have it. And then I made sure to put a sad face because I didn't have it. And he's like, I'll send it to you. And Sal, a good man, a man of his word, and he sent it, and I have it now. Night Terrors, Nightwing, issue number 2. But a little before that, I had gotten some other comic books as well. I got Daredevil Visionaries, Frank Miller. This is the second Visionaries with Frank Miller's work on Daredevil. And this has, what Daredevil issues does it have? It has issues 160, Daredevil issue 168 through 182. Those of you know, there's a huge thing that happens with old Elektra and Bullseye. Their epic fight takes place in here, so I wanted it. And well, I got it. Also, in the mail, I got The Mighty Thor, Blood and Thunder. This has all 13 issues, I believe, of the story arc. And yes, 13 issues of the whole Blood and Thunder story arc, or was it 12? Well, it has the whole Thor, Blood and Thunder with Thor. I must say the artwork looks really nice at the front. It's really swole on the back. So this is the Thor crossover where it has Thor, it has Silver Surfer. Yeah, it has Warlock Chronicles. Yeah, so it has Thor issues 468 through 471. The Silver Surfer issues 86 through 88. Some of you may know I'm going through all the Silver Surfers, and I have the Epic Collections, and some of the ones that don't come in the Epic Collections, I buy them as single issues. And the last Epic Collection I have of Silver Surfer Resurrection ends at Silver Surfer 85, so this is good to get issues 86 through 88. This also has Warlock Chronicles 6 through 8 and Warlock in the Infinity Watch 23 through 25. So I'm really excited to get to that story. But I also went to the comic shop. Yes, I do go to comic shops, although I must say that the one closest to me, which is like 10 minutes away, recently I saw that it was shut down. Well, no surprise, since they had a very bad service and they didn't have many comic books to sell. So great. Now I could only drive like 45 minutes out. But I was on my way to pick up a suit for one of my best friends, James's wedding, and I was one of the groomsmen. I'm glad that he and his wife Elise are now married. It was a great wedding. I wish them a long, happy, healthy marriage. But back to when I was going to get my suit for the wedding, I got out a little early, and I was like, well, I have some time to kill, so I might as well just go to the comic shop here. But I won't tell you the name of the comic shop, because when I had to use the bathroom, which I really had to use it, they said, oh, we don't have a bathroom. So, okay, fine. I had to stand there dancing because I really had to go pee-pee. But they have a deal on Wednesdays, and that is that if you buy one comic book, you get 3 from the dollar bin free. So I had to go through it fast because I really had to go, because I knew I'm going to have to buy these stuff, and then I'm going to have to go somewhere to go pee, which would be the mall when I'm getting my suit. So the comic I bought was The Amazing Spider-Man issue 800. I had been wanting that one. Now I have it. Love that cover. And look at that. It's 80 pages, one story, no holds barred. So I'm looking forward to getting to this story sometime. And the three comics I got with it for free from the dollar bin are all X titles. First, starting off with X-Force 15. I'm pretty new. I'm not too caught up with X-Men, but I read and hear what's going on. So it was interesting to go through it and see a bit of Beast, how he's been turning bad. I also got Cable issue 35. And this goes with the Onslaught story arc. You see Cable and Apocalypse fighting, two characters that I love, so I had to get that. And then I got X Factor Annual number 9. The gentleman's name is Power. Awesome. And he's beating up Strong Guy. I'll be rooting for Strong Guy in this fight. Guido. Well, everyone, that is my mail call / some pulls, pickups, whatever you want to call them. And I look forward to getting more comic books very, very soon. It is now time for Our Works. August was a very busy month for everyone at Codex, but I can definitely tell you it was a busy month for me. And we had a lot of filming of A Series About a Series, episode 3. And I had this goal to finish it by the end of August. I was prepared to do it in September, but I was hoping myself to finish it by August. And we did it. We finished filming episode 3 of A Series About a Series in August, before the month came to an end. So now it is time. It's all in post now, fixing it, editing every single day. So I will have more updates later on and when there'll be more trailers and when episode 3 of A Series About a Series will be released. I felt very glad. I felt like a big relief was lifted off my shoulders to have episode 3 finished filming. And that wasn't all I was up to. I believe on the last episode of the Codex podcast, I mentioned that I had started writing my story of Dangerous Nights. If I didn't, well, in the beginning of August, I started writing a story of mine called Dangerous Nights, and I finished writing Dangerous Nights. I'm not too sure when it will be released. I'm not too sure which story of mine will be released on Wattpad next under my username, Sono the Writer, but Dangerous Nights might be one of them. It was a story that just came right into my head. Usually I write notes and I don't get to a story. I don't actually start writing a story until years have passed, but this one just came into my mind and it jumped the list. It basically was telling me, you need to write me first. I'm here to be written, and I started writing notes in July and I started writing in August, and within about 2 weeks, I wrote the whole story of Dangerous Nights. But I'm not the only one who's been busy with writing and filming. The Code X Station has been up to quite a bit, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, but there's still been some episodes of some shows, like Comic Character of the Week. And I saw on this past episode, Comic Character of the Week focused on the Joker. You could see Jamie, Sal, and Dan all talking about the Joker, all the great things, best moments and some of the best iconic covers and best stories. And I must say in there, I was going to mention it to Jamie today, but it was nice to hear that he mentioned that he still had this Jared Leto Joker poster that I had bought him. I assume that he just got rid of it or ripped it up. But look at that. He even moved and still kept the Jared Leto Joker poster. So I was glad to hear that. So make sure to check out all the episodes of Comic Character of the Week. Great show. Many great characters you can learn about. And like I said, great recommendations too of other stories or stories from these amazing characters that we know and love. And also, one huge thing that the Codex has been up to, the Codex Station has been up to, is that quite a few of our members, like Dan and Sal and Uncle Gary, were at Baltimore Comic-Con. And I'm not going to mention any names, but I will say that one of the biggest names in comic book history will appear on the Codex Station video of our guys at Baltimore Comic-Con. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not just trying to make it sound like it's better. Make it sound like it's better than it is. I saw the footage. One of the biggest names in comic books, one of the biggest names in comic history, will appear in that video of the Codex Station at Baltimore Comic-Con. So we'll see when that comes out. I'm excited for it too. I haven't seen all the footage. I saw the footage of this big name, but yeah, there's a lot more to it. I'm really excited to check that out. And for me, for now, that will wrap up our works. And you can always check out more things at thecodexstation.com. And you can check us out on all the socials. You can check them out below in the information. We have under all the details under this video. And like I said, so many things from the Codex Station. Make sure to subscribe, to like, to leave positive, nice comments. We're everywhere. We're on all the socials like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, everywhere. And don't forget about that Patreon. So, you can get for only $3 or a little bit more for $7. You can get so many things from the Code X Station. You can even get a shout out from one of your favorite hosts, whoever it may be. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's somebody who's not here today, but so many things. So make sure to check out our Patreon as well. One day in the future, we would like it so that we can have this as our main job so that we don't have to be out doing this and out doing that and then making us all do solo adventures and things like that. So check us all out, and thank you everyone for checking us out wherever you do check us out, whether it be here on YouTube, whether it's one episode or 100 episodes. We're hoping that you check all of our stuff out, but thank you for supporting the Code X Station. As you may know, we have the F list on the Codex podcast, but since my co-hosts are not here today and it is only me on this solo adventure, I'm not going to bring a new member to the F list, but I will let you all catch up with us. That's a little hint of who will be the next F lister on the next episode of the Codex podcast, hopefully. So now let us get us caught up, and since I will have some time to edit this, I can mention these characters as I show you pictures of these F-listers. Okay, the F-list started off in episode 61 of the Codex podcast, and the first person to join the F-list was Jonathan Taylor Prophet, who goes by the name of Prophet. Then we had NFL Super Pro, Phil Grayfield. Then we had the Eraser, Leonard Lenny Fiasco. And then it was the Hypno Hustler, Antoine Delson. Then it was... nobody joined the next episode. And nobody joined the one after that. But then we had, on episode 68 of the Codex podcast, we had Gamecock Carlos Cabrera join the F list. Then on episode 69, we had Pink Pearl Gross join the F list, the first woman to join the F list. Then we had the Ten-Eyed Man, Philip Reardon. None for 71. Then in episode 72, the Brown Bomber joined the F list. He was never even given a regular name. That's how horrible the Brown Bomber is. He sucks. Then in episode 73 of the Codex podcast, we had the whole team of Youngblood join the F list. We had the whole team join it. So I'm not going to mention all of their names because that's many, many names. But yeah, the team of Youngblood. Their home team and their away team all join the F list. Then in episode 74, we had Egg Foo join the F list. And now we were a little torn. There have been a few different versions of Egg Foo. The newer ones could possibly make it out of the F list, but the original Egg Foo shall never leave the F list. Nobody joined in 75, but in episode 76, Ace Spencer joined the F list. And in the next episode, we had Michael Man Mountain Marco join the F list. Then the next one, we had Ice Cream. No, not the delicious ice cream that we eat. The guy's name is Ice Cream, like I Scream. Then after that, it was the Clock, Slugsy Kyle, who joined the F list. The next episode after that, it was Turner D. Sanctuary, whose actual name was Clifford F. Michaels, who joined the F list. Then nobody joined in 81. But in 82, Armless Tiger Man joined the F list. Then in 83, we had Grofon the Regurger join the F list. And in our last episode of the Codex podcast, we had the Monarch of Menace join the F list. He too does not have an actual name, only the Monarch of Menace. So today, like I said, we do not have anybody joining the F list since it is only me here, and I like to share these F listers with others as well, so everyone else can enjoy them too. But when things are back to regular with the Codex podcast, we shall have more F listers join. I already know who I want to join next week, and I already have somebody else in mind for who will join the week after that. I will tell you that that character is someone who has been mentioned a long time ago on the Codex podcast. Yeah, so the F list, the horrible list you don't want your character to be a part of, but hey, at least they're getting mentioned. Sometimes some of these characters are about 60 years old. Some of them, surprisingly, like the Brown Bomber is like less than 20 years old. But F listers, we love to hate them. And if you all know any F listers, feel free to comment below. Let us know any F listers you would like to see join the F list. And that concludes the F list for this week. It is now time for Do You Know? Jamie has still not arrived at my house yet to do this podcast and play Do You Know with me. And Tim is still frozen in time and space. So I will just have to do You Know with all of you. Yes, there we go. Okay, Do You Know? This time, a little bit different since I'm just asking all of you the questions. So I will ask you a question, I will do a little countdown, and then tell you if you're right or wrong. Or I'll basically just give you the answer because I don't know what you're actually answering. So my first question for all of you, do you know in what year did Superman make his first appearance? Four, three, two, one. Superman made his first appearance in 1938 in Action Comics #1. And it came out in June of 1938, in case you're wondering. So there you go. Superman made his first appearance in 1938. My next question for all of you is, with the man behind me, the man I'm going to be reading a story about, I will be reviewing a story about today. This question is about Wolverine. Do you know what is the first appearance of Wolverine? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, here we go. This has been one of the longest answers, been one of the longest debated things in comic books. Wolverine made his first full appearance in The Incredible Hulk 181, but he did make his first cameo in The Incredible Hulk 180. So this brings on the question, the big debate of what is this brings on the big debate of cameos versus full appearances, and we've talked about this many times on the Codex station. There was even Breaking the Code where Jamie and Tim went back and forth about cameos versus first full appearances. So like I said, I will take The Incredible Hulk 180 or 181 as your answer being right. So give yourself a point if you got it, if you said The Incredible Hulk 180 or 181, because like I said, Wolverine made his first cameo appearance in The Incredible Hulk 180, and he made his first full appearance in The Incredible Hulk 181. In case you didn't know, now you know. Same thing with that Superman question. In case you didn't know, now you know. So how are you doing? Do you got 1 point? Do you got 2 points? Do you have 0 points? Well, either way, we're on to question number 3. Here we go. Do you know what is the first appearance of Batman? 7, 6, 5, The first appearance of Batman is in Detective Comics number 27, and it came out in 1939. Let me make sure I'm right with that it is May 1939, and yes, I am correct. It is May 1939. Batman made his first appearance in Detective Comics number 27 in May of 1939. If you didn't know, now you know. You're free to go look it up, because I'm not just making up these answers. As the Codex Station, we make sure that we have the answers right next to us when we're asking these questions, so that we're not giving you false information. So there you go. How did you do? Did you get 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 1 for 3? Did you get goose eggs and you got 0? Well, either way, I hope you learned something from this Do You Know segment, because these are, some of the biggest characters in comic books. Like I said, Superman, Wolverine, and Batman, some of my favorites, and they're the favorites of many, many. So it is good to know that all of these characters, where they made their first appearances, what year they've been around for a long, long time, and I think they're going to stick around for a long, long time, even after most of us have left this life. They're awesome characters. To think that back in 1938, Superman was made, and here we are in 2023, and then 1 year after Superman was made in 1939, Batman was made, and then to think in 1974, almost 50 years ago, Wolverine was made, and like I said, he was just a Hulk villain, and now he is an icon in comic books. So that is Do You Know for this episode of the Code X podcast. It is now time for Sonny Kruger's review of Wolverine, the Jungle Adventure. Here it is, right here. It was made in 1989. And as you can tell, it is a Wolverine story. So, I will start us off with the credits. The writer of the story is Walter Simonson. The penciler is Mike Mignola. The inker is Bob Wyachek. The colorist is Mark Chiarello. The letterer is Ken Bruzenak. And the editors are Bob Harris and Daryl Alderman. And at the time, also the editor-in-chief was Tom DeFalco. So I'll give us a little run through of this story. This is, like I said, a solo story of Wolverine, one of my all-time favorites, as you can tell, since I have his painting in my room. So the story starts off with the tribe of fire. They are telling the story of, as they called him, the son of heaven, who came down from the heavens. It's actually Wolverine, who was flying his plane, pretty much a one-person plane, and he's flying, and he actually dropped his lighter, so that is why he goes down into the Savage Land to get his lighter. That's when he comes across this tribe, and they believe, oh my gosh, he came from the sky. He is, like they said, the son of heaven. And then their leader comes across, whose name is Gok, and the leader challenges Wolverine to a fight, and the two have a very good fight, which Wolverine wins. Wolverine's pretty tough, but Gok gave him a pretty good run for his money. Wolverine wins, and then the tribe looks up to him, that Wolverine is, the top guy. But then later he meets Gok. Gok approaches Wolverine in a cave and takes off the mask and the outfit, and reveals that Gok is actually a woman, and a woman who pretty much takes Wolverine's breath away. And also, she's topless. She's not wearing a top, so he is like, whoa, ho, ho, ho. And he even says, well, wait a minute. He even says he forgets all the questions he was about to ask. And Gok gives him a kiss. And Gok speaks a little bit of English, so the two talk a little bit, and Wolverine tells of why he is there. And he even says, I never claimed I was, this god or anything like that. I'm just a man. And he tells that he was tricked, pretty much, that there was an assassination attempt on his life, and then he found out it was a cyborg, and then he knew the smell. He could smell that it was from the Savage Land, so that's why he went to the Savage Land. So, in case I didn't mention it before, yes, this story is Wolverine, the Jungle Adventure, is in the jungles of the Savage Land. So, once Wolverine smelled that the cyborg had come from the Savage Land, that is why Wolverine went there. Then, he lost the lighter that Nick Fury had given to him. And then that's when he came across the Fire Tribe. And since he had beaten Gok in the fight, became their leader. And Gok says that she basically understood nothing of what, she barely understood anything of what he said, but she gets enough. And then she turns off the candle. She doesn't blow it out. She uses her fingers, puts out the lights, and then you can use your wild imagination to guess what Wolverine and Gok did. And then Wolverine is living amongst the tribe of fire, and he is their leader, and he finds peace with them. He likes to be hunting. He feels very at home with it. He enjoys that life. And then, as the people called this, the Honker of Doom, which is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The Honker of Doom killed one of the tribe's people's sons. The tribesman stabs Wolverine, and then Wolverine just pulls it out, and he even says, if this was another time, you would be meat. You'd be dead meat, but I'm in a different place now. And he just says, just don't try that again. And then Wolverine agrees to help take this Honker of Doom down. It's a good battle, and the tribe of fire help him out, and Wolverine does take out the Tyrannosaurus Rex Honker of Doom. After getting eaten by it, he cuts through it, but he also sees that this was also a cyborg, and then he goes to go after to find out where this came from, and then he eventually finds out that it is Apocalypse who was behind this, who set him up, who had him there. And then Apocalypse and Wolverine engage in a fight. Wolverine is trapped, and Gok actually goes and she helps Wolverine out, and eventually Wolverine and Apocalypse, they really go at it. They're really trading blows back and forth, and it's a bloody one, it's a good one. And then we suddenly see that Apocalypse is not actually Apocalypse. It is a cyborg of Apocalypse, which Wolverine kills, and then a hologram of the actual Apocalypse appears, and the two chat, and then Wolverine decides that he's going to blow this place up. So he uses that lighter he got from Nick Fury, and he blows this factory up, and then he leaves, and as he's leaving, he looks back down on the tribe of fire, and he blows Gok a kiss as the two they both gave each other quite a nice emotional look, and he blows her a kiss goodbye. And you may think I've told you the whole story, but there is quite a surprise at the very end, that I will not tell you. You can check it out yourself. Wolverine: The Jungle Adventure is a terrific story. Like I said, it is a solo Wolverine adventure. I really enjoyed it. It is not too long. It is, like I said, it is a graphic novel, and you can get through it in one sitting, like one or two sittings, like I did. I really enjoyed it. It's a story that I've come back to multiple times already. My only little critique about it that I was not too fond of was that at the end, how it wasn't actually Apocalypse, that it was a cyborg. And I felt Marvel sometimes did this a lot, especially with Doctor Doom. You would think the characters are fighting Doctor Doom, then it's the cyborg Doom. And then, this happened too. Again, it wasn't actually Wolverine fighting Apocalypse. It was a cyborg. That's my own that. And then the artwork, I did enjoy the artwork. Michael Mignola's artwork is a little bit different, but I felt went really good with this story. Only once in a while I'll catch a little thing, like a little inconsistency, like maybe the bodies would look a little different. Maybe Wolverine would look a little heavier in one panel and thinner and in better shape the next. So those are my only two little critiques about this, but this is a story I love and I recommend it. And I would really love to see if the X-Men 97 series does an episode. If they have to do one focused on Wolverine, I would hope that they do one focused and do an adaptation of this story, because it was really fun, great, and yeah, it's a pure Wolverine story. If you're a Wolverine fan, I definitely recommend it for you. And just in general, I recommend it. I, Sonny Kruger, give Wolverine: The Jungle Adventure a 9.5 out of 10. I said it's entertaining, artwork is very good for it, an awesome Wolverine story. So I don't want to keep going on too much about it. That's basically it. I recommend you check it out yourself. Wolverine: The Jungle Adventure is an awesome story. And that is my review for this week on the Codex Podcast. So make sure to check out Wolverine: The Jungle Adventure. Everyone, it has been an interesting show. I was glad to join you all for this special Sonny solo adventure. I enjoy being here with you all. I enjoy talking with you. Thank you for tuning in. I think you should be back to normal with the Codex podcast and with the Codex station soon. But I must say again, thank you, and everyone. I'll get the business out of the way now that we're towards the end, and say check us out on Patreon. For $3, or $7, you can get a little more. Help support us, and we will give you a lot of things. You get a lot of great things. You can even get shout outs from any of your favorite hosts. You get behind the scenes footage. You'll even get. We will even be doing a special. Do you know? For some of you all. Yes, for you all. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Dubby. So check out dubby.gg and use the keyword code -X at checkout so you can save yourself 10%. And that 10% helps us out at the Codex station so we can make this beautiful station grow to be even better than what it is. And yeah, so at W, in case you don't know what it is an energy drink. I hear that it gives you no jitters and all that bad stuff. So it is only good. Everyone I've spoken to, everyone I know who's had it has really loved it. So I do recommend you check it out. So check that out. Like I said, w.gg. Use the keyword code -X at checkout to save yourself 10%. And the 10% helps out the Codex station. Also check us out on all the socials. Instagram, YouTube. YouTube, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 974 right now, so we are almost there at 1,000, and there will be a special giveaway for 1,000 once we hit it, and we're looking to hit it pretty dang soon. And like I said, we're on many things. Find us pretty much everywhere at the Code X station. And I will say for me, doing a show alone is a bit different from doing it with others. One thing I've noticed is that everything I do, sometimes while the others are talking, I can maybe pull out a comb, try to lick my lips, or just something. Maybe I have an eyelash in my eye or something. But when you're doing a show alone, you're the only one everyone's looking at. So it's a bit different, a bit interesting. But I'm glad I got to do this. I have had ideas for this Sonny solo adventure for quite a while. I'm like, you know what? It'd be nice to do something a little bit different when everyone's kind of busy and I'm the one who's available to do the show. I'm like, I want to give it a shot. I want to do a different episode so that it's not the same every week. And hey, this week we happen to do it. Things happen to fall into place, so I get to have this solo adventure, but it wasn't really so solo because I had all of you with me the whole time, so I was never really alone. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Code X podcast. Stay up to date with everything from the Code X station. Make sure to subscribe, like I said, and like videos that you like and comment. Hopefully they're positive comments, but if they're not, hey, I may come back at you with a nasty reply, or maybe somebody else will. Who knows? But try to keep it positive because we like to be told that we're such nice, decent people and that we're entertaining you. We hope that you are entertained and you feel that you have a place to come to watch and or listen and just be entertained for a little while. We don't want you feeling too bad. We don't want you feeling bad at all. But we want you to watch us, enjoy yourselves, having a good time. Any recommendations you have for us, whether it be F-listers or comics you'd like to see us read and review, whether it be from me or Tim or Jamie on the Codex podcast or anybody else, whether it be Dan or Sal or Kristen or anybody from the Codex station, just feel free to put it in. We do check our comments a lot. We do check, recommendations. We love them. So let us know what you want us to read. And like I said, too, also F-listers, I love to learn about all those horrible characters. And two, also for comic characters of the week, if there's anybody like, hey, I want to know more about this character, feel free to send us the recommendations, everybody. We love it. We love to hear from you all. We love your support and your viewership. And we hope to see you all and more. Well, I hope to see you all. And I'm sure all of us at the Codex Station would love to see you all on more videos from the Codex Station for more of our episodes, whether it be After Dark, Comic Character of the Week, or On the Spots, Codex Podcast. We've got plenty of shows. Check us out. Check us all out, especially me. And hope you all have a great day, great week, great month, great year, great decade. Hope you have a great life. And Yeah, I'm used to Tim and Jamie ending these things, so this is my way of ending it. So I will say thank you all for joining me. See you later.